Well, another successful day in Dispatch Training Center because today we're having practical sessions. Have you heard? We do have practical sessions. So our students understand how flow is going in dispatching, multitasking, answering phones, emailing, also understanding what do you have to do? Do you have to send invoice? Do you have to ask for revised rate confirmation with detention? Do you have to pre-book? Do you have to simply check on the hours of service for your driver? Do you have to give updates for the brokers if the load's still in transit? Yes, yes, and yes, because they are future pro dispatchers. I am teaching them how this business should go every day. And it doesn't matter if you've been dispatching for 3 years, 5 years, the steps are always going to be the same. Pro dispatchers, we are proactive. We prevent liabilities. We pre-book. We pre-plan. We actually making sure that everything is planned, routed, and we are taking care of paperwork as well. We eliminating a lot of scams nowadays. Remember, 2024 was the beginning of the biggest scams in trucking. In 2025, they are getting wishes. They are mimicking big brokers. They are double brokering. They pretend to be brokers. So be aware. Scams are on the rise. What else is on the rise? Cargo thefts. Besides, we all know the new rules and regulations. Most of you who are going to be working with drivers who need to improve their English proficiency kind of under the stress. But guys, do not worry. It's not that hard. Just take 30 minutes a day. Make sure your drivers find the app. Make sure they enroll in some online trainings and can improve English really fast. By the way, we are adding also option on our website. So if you are dispatcher and if you have drivers who still need to enroll in a fast pace English class, make sure you look at our site later today. Well, what else is new? Well, market is shifting. It's been good in Atlanta. What's going on in Atlanta? Everybody wants to go to Atlanta, right? But to go to Atlanta is not that easy. And where do they pay? Well, they usually pay to East Coast, right? You need to go to Connecticut, you need to go to Massachusetts, and you can book load for 3,500. But if you are going to Atlanta, well, you are getting your $2 per mile from Illinois. But what is gonna kill this triangle? Of course, coming back from East Coast. There is no load. There have been nightmares since today. But anyway, I have to log in and we need to start looking at the whole picture exactly for today. That's why most of you are asking why your class is different. Well, because I am teaching you on what is going on exactly today, yesterday, and what is going to be there tomorrow. My classes are not pre-booked. My classes are live, interactive, and you are part of this process. So far, I am honored to claim that I have been #1 instructor in the USA for the last 4 years. Make sure you go, like, subscribe, and also follow our media. We are almost 200K on YouTube thanks to you guys. Without your subscriptions, without your likes, shares, I wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you so much. And again, our June class is starting on June 25th. It's going to be night class on Wednesdays because a lot of you have been asking, you cannot do it on Saturday or Sunday. Well, you have asked and I am delivering. So we'll see how the night class gonna go. But if you're still looking for Saturday class, we have one scheduled already in the August. Also, IFTA and safety is coming up. Do not wait. register, and I will make sure I show you the reality of trucking. Love you guys. See you soon. So let's see how my students are gonna manage stress today. Let's kind of cover this part. So if we are calling and the load is already covered, what can we ask? Well, do you have anything else? And we have to tell them where we at and what do we have, right? Well, do you have anything else in Boston, Massachusetts for drive and for today? My driver is willing to go where? Midwest. My driver is willing to go to, let's say, North Carolina. You know your driver, right? You do. They don't. So we can give them options. Let's say you have this reality of this trucking and it's already afternoon. Well, can we ask if you do have the same load tomorrow that we can pick up really early? 6 a.m., 7 a.m., right? Because it's better already to pre-book this today than, again, tomorrow sit all day, right? Another thing, how often do you have this load, right? What else? We did not even ask once. Do you have your own load board? Write it down, guys. I'm telling you to add this to your questions, right, Christina? Because what we're learning now, DT, Truckstop, all of this 1, 2, 3 load boards, they don't really have those loads. So if we are not set up, how can you get set up? So you have to be proactive, right, Valencia? So if you never work with them, but at least you can set up with a load board, you have a better chance next time. Okay, so if person sounds like they have patience and everything else, well, we can also do what you usually cover. What type of trailers do you work with, right? Because you will be not only dispatching drive and sometimes you're going to have drive and reefer, right? Because if their rating is good, if person has patience and answers, what is it? It's already kind of 50% of your success, correct? Correct. Okay, what else? If we would be dispatching today, right now is at 2:05. Well, hopefully our trucks are moving. What would we do afternoon? What should we do afternoon?
Try to book next load for the next day.
We can pre-book it. Okay, let's say we pre-book that. What else can we do? Well, should we do all the invoices, right? Should we
All
go
the
to
paperwork,
factory
yes.
and submit all the paperwork? So biggest mistake for independent dispatchers, because big companies, they have accounting, right? They have separate girls who do accounting. They have safety girls who do safety. So you guys just booking, you probably gonna be doing what? Putting this load in truck management software, TMS, because big companies, they not gonna just do Excel spreadsheets, but most of you gonna be working for a small carriers. They're not gonna have TMS. So what do you need to do? You need to make sure that you don't pile up this load, right? Because they need to get paid. So that's why I write it down. After you take care of the loads, you still need to submit, because usually cutoff time for all the factoring is 11, 12 Eastern time. So if you're not gonna do this load, even submit today, right? You're gonna do it tomorrow. How fast are they gonna receive that money? Oh, and tomorrow is already Friday. Saturday, Sunday is not a business day, so Tuesday. Can they survive till Tuesday? They probably in this market don't even have enough money to do what? To pay you your fees, right? So paperwork is important, right? What else do we see nowadays with all those rate confirmation? Most of the brokers are telling, if you don't submit POD right away, we're gonna take money off this rate confirmation. So what the biggest problem the dispatchers have? They counting on the factoring, but is this RTS job to do? No, because you can submit today. RTS might give you money, but do you think that they're gonna send a broker POD within 24 hours, 48? No. So whose job is this? You, and you. So you have to remember, not only we posting the loads, not only we negotiating, but we making sure that we prevent all the short pays. And short pays can happen when? When we don't submit PODs on time. When our driver is not tracking. He started, but then he's giving us her time, right? Well, a lot of brokers are not gonna tell you. They're gonna call you once, you give them update, and you have transit for, let's say, 4 days, but they charge $150 per day. So how much they gonna take from that already cheap load? They can take up to $600, right? What if you did not start detention? What if you did not ask for revised rate confirmation? What if you had to have those scale tickets, right? So who is in charge of this? You, and you, right? So that's why organizational skills are the must. You have to have a structure. Of course, in the morning, we want to make sure that we give updates for whatever is going on now, from yesterday, from day before, for today. Then we concentrate on booking load, dispatching driver, checking on the transit, and afternoon we taking care of the paperwork. Sometimes you guys gonna have days when everybody's driving and you don't need, because if they go cross country, well, sometimes you're not gonna have to dispatch. So what do you do on that day? Well, make sure you take day off, right? Because you work for yourself. So if everything under your control, you can go and take your phone, right? Because on the phone, you're gonna have all the apps. On the phone, you can still answer and give updates. So don't sit in front of computer on the days when you don't have to sit. Because what? You're not an employee anymore. You are business owner. So utilize that. That's why when you have to be productive, be productive. Why? So you have time for yourself. So maybe George can go fishing earlier tomorrow because he took care of everything. Or maybe not, because load got canceled. He's on the way fishing and the load got canceled. So George, what are you gonna do? Let's say you thought that you pre-booked the load, everything else, and you go fishing. So what should you do as a smart dispatcher? Maybe before you go fishing, if somebody's still not loaded, make sure that they're on the way. Call the shipper, ask if this chicken is gonna be ready. Then you can go fishing, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But what if you are fishing? What can you do? That's why we have on the phone all the apps, starting with the DT, Truckstop, Loadboards, TQL, and you can still post, right? And you can still receive phone calls and do it. Correct? Correct. So what should George have besides the fishing pole? Probably a piece of paper, a sticker, and calculator. If he doesn't know how to calculate fast.
And an
Guys,
iPad for a second screen.
an iPad for the second screen again. So that's why we now are what? Business owners, right? Okay. Let's start with Christina. Christina, tell me, do you still want to be a dispatcher?
I feel like it's challenging, and yes, I really do want to be in the industry. I do something new and challenging and interesting for me.
Okay. So do you think after this training you have a better picture of dispatchers and what we have to do and not to do?
Yes. And I watched a lot of videos before taking the class. But this is like a lot of the small pieces that I kind of got it all connected. You connect the dots well. And it's the more you get into it, the more you get comfortable, the more you learn. And so, yes, I feel like before coming into the class, I thought I knew a lot of things, but I really didn't know as much as I do now.
Okay, so would you recommend my training?
Oh, of course.
And
100%.
let me ask you this. Are you gonna sit down with your friend and do his operational cost and kind of help him out and see what's going on there?
It's funny you say that because he came through this yesterday and we were sitting there and I was showing him the tools and he was like, "Oh my gosh, we have to do that." I'm like, "Yes, we are."
Okay, so hopefully you have potential first career. But first, while I appreciate you being active in the class, right? She was always there. She was studying. Look, she comes from the corporate of America, and she comes to Ukrainian girl who is sassy and pushy, but she handles this well, right? She did not ever once took it personal, right? Because probably she understands that I'm here to bring the information. And sometimes it's really hard for me, even today when for some of you I was kind of going really harsh. Why? because you need to pay attention to this, right? Because if I just sit there and sweet talk and say, Christina, just do this, well, she's not gonna learn. And then she starts and she might quit. I don't want you to quit. Second thing is, let's talk about Christina. Does she has organizational skills? Yes, she's already managing people. Does she has confidence in her voice? Listen, she did have confidence, right? She has no problem with that. But now she has knowledge as well. So like she gave us advice before. When something is not clicking, move on. You'd better say, sorry, I'll call you better and move on. Why? Because that's what you do in any business, right? You have to move on to something
Because
different.
time is money.
Time is money. Let's go to George. George, what do you think? Today, I can tell you this, your confidence level was up there. I'm very proud of you. Even the way you talk, I remember those few phone calls and I was like, wow, this guy is so scared of trucking, and he is a truck driver, but I see the biggest switch from beginning till now. Girls, do you agree? Look, even the way he sits right now, he's relaxed. Look at him going through the map, right? Going to this. So, do you need to be a I don't know, engineer? Do you need to be a scientist to move those maps? No.
No, really, no.
So tell me, George, what is the next step? Did you improve? Do you
Oh, yeah.
like this matching job? Do you
Yeah,
want to?
I'm very proud I stepped into this. Like, I thought I knew a lot in trucking, but now after I went through all of the how cover page and how to negotiate to brokers the best rate per mile, even factoring and how operational cost, how to calculate the right way. Yeah, it's a wow. And I never knew it's so many things, so many dots right now we need to put together just to move on.
And remember, like Christina say, I connected dots for you. But if you watch me for years, what I always refer to, which figure I refers to circle, it has to make logic. If we start here, we have to finish here somehow. We're not gonna try to build a star, an ounce, an octagon, right? Driving all over and hoping for miracles. It has to be logical decisions, right? And now you can understand driver's side, dispatcher side is different, but in the end of the day, we have to be a team anyway. But there has to be decision making from whose side? Driver or dispatcher?
From dispatcher.
Gotcha.
Dispatcher, right? Because driver, a lot of times, remember, I gave you example today. If that guy would not book that load from TQL and you would call him and ask, should I take it? I bet you and Mr. Toltayev and Tony, if they are driver, you would say, no, it's too cheap. Let's wait, right? So you as a dispatcher will need to validate and say, listen, we did this load, we got this load, we're gonna be still averaging this, and what's gonna happen? We can still get the load tomorrow. You can do restart and end up in Atlanta, right? So you can bring that plan. So when you hear that, right, Mr. Toltayo, probably, okay, it's $800, but I'm still gonna make the gross, right? Because what did we had? We had 5,800. If we even take the load tomorrow for at least 16, 17, for the week, we have how much gross? Well, how much?
7.
Oh, and then 7, but our rate per mile is still gonna be what? 215, 220, and the driver still doing restart where he lives. So that's what we need to do. Dispatchers are not secretaries. We make decision. What else did we learn? If we cannot get that rate to go to East Coast, well, we would not go to East Coast. We would go back to Midwest and be here. So that's why, guys, you have all of this. Now it's just time to start utilizing, correct? Correct. And biggest thing is, so George, you are a reefer driver. Do you see the difference between, for example, drive and even dispatch? We did see some flatbed on Monday. Do you see that the reefers are the ones that you really need to pay attention to that transit, right? Like,
Yeah.
you cannot afford to make that mistake because it's so easy to agree to something and late fees are high. And minus 10 degrees in summer is nonsense. And extra drop, extra pick can actually become a nightmare, right?
Yeah, all the details, yes, you're right.
Okay. So here you go. Mohammed got the free consultation just because he stepped up. And Monday he was paying attention. Today, if I knew he would be performing like this, I probably would not give it to him. But I'm that person who is not taken back, right? Because Muhammad thought on Monday that he's already star, and today his performance went down the hill. So Muhammad, I'm still giving you that, but George, I want to give you also free consultation when you are ready for something or you just want extra 1 hour on something. I want to give it to you. Why? Because I'm very proud of your progress. I am.
Thank you.
Okay? Agree? Everybody agree? Yes, everybody agree. Let's go to Miss Marlin. Miss Marlin. What are we learning? We need to speak up loud, right? We need to have confidence. So now, every morning you wake up and you start talking to your kids, to your husband. What time is the pickup? When is the delivery? Can you repeat this, right? Because you
Right.
need to say. But tell me, do you love the dispatch? Did you learn? And today, of course, it was under the pressure. It's going to be easy when it's your desktop. But tell me, what do you think?
Well, I think I enjoy the course. I'm still learning.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you like the process? Do you like the
I
process?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
right?
yes.
Yes. And again, you have kids at home, you were in every class, you were finishing homework, so you were a responsible student. It's something new. I also see a lot of progress, but you just need to what? Go back, kind of repeat everything,
Yes.
and start talking to yourself. I told you, sometimes you go, you walk with the kids, people gonna say you crazy, who cares? Just start kind of asking because I want this to become your nature, right? But do you have a big potential? Yes, you do. You know how it's gonna work. So just a little bit more practice. Very
Okay.
proud of you as well, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else is here? Miss Rogers, what do you think?
I think that being a dispatcher is challenging, but I can say it's no bigger than being a mother of twin babies. To improve my English skills,
Okay.
um, maybe be more organized. I know
Paying
this.
attention. So for you personally, you are a great student. As I told you, you're a teacher, you're learning,
Mhm.
but you need to organize that knowledge right now in your head, right? Because sometimes you know, but that needs to be exactly. So just paying attention exactly for this load, and you're gonna do it. So
Yeah.
that's why just look at the map, pay
Mhm.
attention, then now that's what you're doing. Don't try to pick up all the stuff you have in your head because we do have a lot. So you do have knowledge, you know how to do it. First thing first. Again, I want you and Marlene go back and George and Mr. Toltayev write down the order, right?
When I arrived in United States in 2022, 2 months later, I find you. I think, wow, maybe in the future I'm going to take this because always now she's the best. She's the best because I saw that you have a real knowledge about you are talking about. Because of that, then 3 years ago, I decide when I'm going to work in this market, I'm going to take her class because she's the best. Even
Thank
if my English is not perfect, I don't catch anything or all the things I need to do.
Well, thank you for doing this. But again, one more advice for non-English speaking. We need to make sure we stick to those questions because what's happening, George, when we start to go around it, we get lost, we are lower. And Christina, poor Christina, sitting there, and she's like, what the hell they want from me? So that's why. What time is the pickup? Where is it delivering? Is it palletized? Again, because with us not speaking English fluently, what's happening? We translating because you just 2 years. So what you doing? I know what you're doing. You trying to translate through your language and you go. And when you get off the topic, you get confused. Not we need to stick to the questions, very clear, confident, and the questions always gonna be the same. What time is it pickup? When is it delivering? If that makes sense, what is a commodity? Is it palletized? Is it floor loaded? That's it. Who is a shipper? Who is a receiver? How much you are paying? This is 10 questions which we can really learn, right, Marlon? Really confident. And if we stick to them, then we're gonna start paying attention and it's gonna improve. Okay? So that's because what's gonna happen a lot of times, people gonna start handing up, and you're gonna get nervous and you're just gonna book something to book. But if you did not ask all the questions, it's gonna be a lot of mistakes. Okay? But very proud of you for stepping up. You're a great student. So now just polishing, making the plan. And for you, I see you a visual person. So for you personally, print out everything you need in front of you. So it's going to help you. And that's it. You're going to do it, right? Right. And our Mr. Tony. So Mr. Tony, what do you think? Should you make one more phone call? Because you did not even make phone call.
I didn't make a phone. I did make one, Alex. It just went straight to voicemail.
I know. So do you want to make one or you okay? I mean,
I'm
I know
good
you
right now.
Also,
I'm good.
you know how to make phone calls. So tell me, what do you think?
Alex, listen, this one thing I did learn for sure that there is 65 trailers we have in trucking transportation. So now I know that. Um, but you give a lot of information for your class, but I would have liked to learn this process a lot earlier in the class, going through the process. That would have helped all of our confidence and made us a lot more comfortable, so to speak. Of course, it's going to come with time, but I think that would have helped out tremendously if we'd have started this early in the class and started focusing on what to ask during the phone calls and learning how to work the computer faster. Preparation costs too. I think that because that's what it's going to come down to, knowing the numbers. You said that so many times, and I think that would have been, this for me. It would have helped out
For
tremendously
you,
for me.
because you have already experience. Unfortunately, you cannot jump to operational cost or even making phone calls to people who don't even know what is a truck, what is a trailer, what
Okay.
is a broker, how setup works. So that's why we
Okay.
cannot jump in front of the train without knowing the basic. And basic is what? What is MC? What is the interstate? What is the intrastate? Who is a broker? Who is a shipper? Who is a receiver? Who are you as a carrier? What type of trailers do we have? Which regions do we have? Time zones? What is the rate confirmation? What is the tension? How can I jump to letting you do phone calls? I cannot, unfortunately, because what would happen?
A train wreck.
Train wreck, unfortunately, Tony. So probably for you, because you've been in this in the industry, probably for you, yes, I told you this is a beginner's class, which has a lot of information, but if you already took brokerage class, if you've been doing it for 25, well, maybe it was a little bit too boring for you in the beginning, but we are building what? Strong foundation, right? So that's why we come into this so we can utilize.
I wouldn't say that's boring, Alex. It was very entertaining. You were too. I understand the language barrier in this class, but in the future, maybe you should think about more of a class that's for, I don't want to say advanced, but, someone who's more, who knows, understand out the industry.
This is not advertised as not big. It's for the people who come to this industry. That's why we have VIP mentoring for future, right?
No,
So
no, would I recommend someone to your class? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. No doubt.
okay.
Everything is a work in progress. We learned a lot in the class. Um, for some, it was overload. I think, especially for those of us who showed up already with like a specific plan versus Muhammad or somebody that wants to be the dispatcher. So yeah, it's one of those things where you go in, you take a class, you get the information, you sort it out for the best usage for you and what your journey is. And then it's always continuing education. Anything you do in life, there's always a continuing education, no matter what side of whatever industry you're on. And so it's now up to us to take this information, weed out what we need, practice, continue to learn. Because at the end of any class, whether you're a doctor or anything, as soon as you get out of class, you do not go and start operating. You still have to do an internship. So there's always a ladder of continuing education that you have to do to get to where you're trying to go. So so yeah, for me, yeah, learning all the trucks and stuff like that was like, but to participate in the class, you have to get it. But it's kind of information that some of us are going to take and set on the side and focus. And so that's probably where, the anxious or the anxiety is coming from, wanting to have had more time on this end of the class than the beginning of the class. So, but like you said, you just have to take what you get out there. And then the main thing is, don't be afraid to make the mistakes. That's how you're going to learn. Even you can study all the time until you start getting on that phone and working through the confidence levels or missing the questions or saying, shoot, I could have got more. It'll work out. The point is, keep learning, don't quit. And there you go.
But in trucking, the biggest thing, even if you made mistake, don't send your driver, right? Admit, and you'd better go and explain to tell the broker, well, I did not understand. Now I receive rate confirmation. So there is a chance for you to still verify that information and make logical decision, correct? So again, in a perfect world, this should be probably 6 months training for all of you. Having you here, you guys all receive certificates. If you decide to leave a review, positive or negative, please do so. I'm okay for all of them. So far, we had all the 5 stars, but I'm okay with 1 star as well. I know what we do. We're changing trucking for the better. And that's what you have to remember, that this is your responsibility to do the best thing for the carrier, not just for you, not just to learn on the mistakes, because unfortunately in trucking, mistakes are too costly. But sometimes you will make those mistakes, but you have to learn from them, because you cannot put the carrier